I was 62 when Dr. Harlan, Lydia's brother, Ethan's uncle, delivered what I believe was my death sentence in his Beacon Hill office. Pancreatic cancer, advanced, months left. Lydia had slipped away 4 years earlier. A heart attack in her sleep, mercifully swift, no drawn-out suffering. Ethan and I had clung to each other at her graveside. He'd buried his face on my shoulder, voice breaking. "Don't leave me alone, Dad." Those words had anchored me through every silent night since.
I told Ethan the diagnosis the same afternoon. He hugged me fiercely, throat thick. "We'll fight this together." For 3 weeks I carried the weight. Scheduling treatments I never started, letting exhaustion show in slumped shoulders and slow steps, convinced the clock was running out. Then the second call. Major error. Radiology misread. It's autoimmune pancreatitis. Chronic inflammation. Treatable with steroids and monitoring. You're not dying. You're going to live. Relief hit like sunlight after storm. I laughed until tears streamed in the doctor's office, already seeing Ethan's face. Shock giving way to joy, that fierce embrace. Maybe beers on the porch to toast second chances. I rehearsed the words the entire drive home. "Son, it's a mistake. I'm not dying. We're okay. We're going to be okay." I drove faster than wise, heart racing with something close to happiness. Rain-slicked streets reflected bruised purple sky and early streetlights. The front door stood ajar, 3 or 4 inches. Claire must have propped it earlier while juggling groceries. Sound carried clearly down the high-ceilinged hallway in this old house when the latch wasn't fully engaged. I stepped inside quietly, keys in hand, ready to call out. Warm gold kitchen light spilled into the corridor. The faint hum of the refrigerator, ice clinking in a glass, Claire's signature jasmine perfume lingering on the coat rack nearby. Ordinary details that suddenly felt obscene. "The beach house first," Ethan said, voice relaxed, almost cheerful. "Ocean View Master. That'll fetch 4 million easy. No mortgage left." Claire's reply crisp, businesslike. "Then the condo downtown. 2.5 minimum. Keep the Victorian for now. The antique desk in the study has the old will and insurance papers. Get power of attorney signed while he's weak. For your peace of mind, Dad. He won't fight. He's got months." Ethan laughed, that same easy laugh from closing his first $1 million deal at 22. "He still thinks I'm the kid he taught to read comps over breakfast. Trust is currency, son." His trust just bought us the whole damn portfolio. My stomach lurched violently. Hands gripped the keys, so tightly the metal bit into palm, drawing blood I didn't feel. Heart hammered against ribs like it wanted out. Breath caught sharp in my throat. Muscles tensed, rigid as steel cables. For one frozen heartbeat, one agonizing, airless second, I prayed I'd misheard, willed the words back into silence. Surely not. Not my son. Not the boy I'd carried through Faneuil Hall crowds. The teenager who'd hugged me after every loss. The young man who'd slept on the couch for weeks after Lydia died because the house felt too empty without her. Then grief and rage collided in a white-hot flash. And in the next breath, something shifted. Clarity settled, cold and precise as a blade drawn from shadow. This wouldn't be an outburst. No shouting, no tears. This would be patience. Every careless word, every slip, every greedy glance, filed away like evidence. The smartest revenge stays hidden, sharpened in silence, drawn only once.
I backed out soundlessly, the door clicking shut behind me. Drove to the Charles River Esplanade, the same stretch where Lydia and I used to walk hand in hand on Sunday mornings, where Ethan and I once sat on a bench talking about dreams and deals until the stars came out. I sat on that same bench until the city lights blurred into streaks, letting grief and fury harden into resolve. Treatment started secretly. Different clinic, cash payments, alias. Steroids worked fast. Within 3 to 4 weeks, my strength returned enough to move normally, but I kept the mask on for months longer. Slumped posture, tired sighs, vague complaints of rough days, slow shuffling steps even when my body felt ready. I needed them to believe I was still fading. Months before the overheard conversation, I'd installed a small, voice-activated microphone in the study, just in case whispers carried more than secrets. It stayed hidden, recording only when triggered by sound. Their subtle campaign unfolded over those long months. Ethan accidentally left a safe combination note askew on the desk. Claire asked too casually, "Where do you keep the property files these days?" Ethan suggested, "Maybe temporary management of the firm, Dad, just to lighten your load." I gave vague nods, let them savor the illusion. Then I delayed. "I'll think about it." Files they touched reappeared slightly misplaced. Their glances sharpened, nervous flicks toward the study door. Midnight whispers growing tense. I heard pacing at 3 a.m., low arguments leaking under doors. "Did you move the papers?" "He's dying. Why would he care?" Paranoia bloomed slowly, sweetly. Ethan's easy confidence cracked first, eyes darting, voice tighter when he pressed for signatures. Claire's composure frayed. She snapped at small things, fingers twisting her wedding band until skin reddened. Once I caught her staring at the study door like it mocked her, lips pressed in, cheeks flushed with frustration. I let the microphone capture every word, every hiss of blame, every late-night calculation. I uncovered their accomplice quietly, my partner Tom confided. Ethan tried pulling me in on a share transfer. Mentioned Lydia's cousin, the lawyer, too. They drafted a fake codicil. Too late. Revenge layered carefully over those same long months while they still believed I was dying. I consulted an out-of-state lawyer in Providence, someone with no ties to Boston circles. We drafted an irrevocable living trust, bulletproof under Massachusetts law. The beach house went outright to a coastal preservation nonprofit. They'd always sneered at tree huggers, so watching it become public trails and bird sanctuaries would sting. The downtown condo transferred to firm's longest-serving employees, the ones who'd stayed through recessions while Ethan chased flashier deals. The Victorian remained mine for life, then passed to a scholarship fund in Lydia's name for underprivileged girls studying architecture, her passion. The business majority shifted to those same loyal staff, with voting shares locked in. Ethan received only a controlled annuity, for $1,000 monthly, disbursed by independent trustees with full veto power over any extraordinary requests. No lump sums, no principal access, an ironclad no-contest clause that voided everything if challenged. Any attempt to fight, it would trigger immediate disinheritance and public disclosure of the recorded conversation. Everything signed in quiet cafes and hotel lobbies under aliases they'd never trace. Legal, permanent, untouchable. They pushed harder, Ethan's pleas edged desperate, voice cracking once. "Dad, we just want to help." Claire noticed missing documents that reappeared rearranged. Her eyes narrowed, suspicion hardening into quiet panic. Frustration cracked wide. Ray's voices behind closed doors. Blame shifting. Claire hissed once, audible through the vent. "If he lingers much longer, we're finished." Ethan's response, low, defeated. "He's supposed to be gone by now." The microphone caught all, every crack in their facade. 9 months after the false sentence. The dinner. Steak, wine, candlelight. They chatted lightly about futures they assumed imminent. Vacations, upgrades, freedom. I waited for the lull, then spoke evenly. "Doctor confirmed today. Wrong diagnosis. Autoimmune pancreatitis. Treatable. I'm not dying. I'll probably outlive you both." Silence dropped like lead. Ethan's face drained bone white, eyes widening in slow-motion horror, fork frozen midair, mouth half open as if the air had been punched out. His shoulders sagged. Hands trembled so violently the fork clattered to the plate. Claire's glass shook. Red wine spilled across the linen like fresh blood, pooling darkly. Her lips parted, no sound escaping, only a soft, strangled gasp. Eyes darted between me and Ethan, searching for escape that wasn't there. I met his gaze, voice low, calm. "I came home early that night. The front door was cracked. Claire left it open with the groceries. I stepped inside to tell you the good news. Your voice is carried straight down the hall. Every word. You gave it away yourselves. No shouting. No rage. Just truth, cold and final. The downfall came slowly, mercilessly, like a tide rising inch by inch. Ethan contested anyway. Hired high-priced lawyers who reviewed the trust documents, listened to the audio clip I provided in chambers, then quietly withdrew, citing no viable grounds. Word leaked in Boston's tight real estate and finance circles. The golden boy broker who bragged about his imminent windfall now survived on a meager stipend. Clients vanished first, whispers of unreliable family man. Deals dried up. He sold a luxury SUV, then the downtown loft he'd bought to impress. Downsized to a dim one-bedroom in a forgotten suburb. Furniture from Craigslist. No more expense account dinners. At industry events he once owned, people turned away. Cold shoulders, averted eyes, murmurs. The one who tried to bury his own father. His face hollowed, eyes shadowed with permanent shame. He aged a decade in 2 years, shoulders perpetually bowed as if carrying the weight of every lost opportunity. Claire held out longer, clinging to denial, but the marriage fractured under constant blame. Her resentment at his failure to secure their future, his defensiveness turning to bitterness. Arguments escalated to slammed doors, nights on the couch. She left within 18 months, papers citing irreconcilable financial differences. But the truth was uglier. She couldn't bear watching the dream collapse, couldn't stomach the man she'd married reduced to begging trustees for extra funds that were always denied. She moved back to her family in Connecticut, took a mid-level admin job, posted carefully curated photos of new beginnings that fooled no one who knew. Mutual friends drifted. Invitations vanished. They became cautionary tales in quiet conversations. Remember Ethan and Claire? Thought they'd inherit millions. Greed has a price. The annuity checks arrived like clockwork reminders for $1,000 a month. Enough to scrape by, never enough to reclaim the life they plotted. Requests for advances? Denied. Emergency funds? Vetoed. Each rejection a fresh cut, a reminder of the trust they mocked and lost forever. Years passed. The beach house, now thriving conservation land with trails, plaques honoring donors, families picnicking where Ethan once summered, hosted its annual charity gala. They had been allowed entry through distant connections, an old courtesy invitation extended before the full story became common knowledge in those circles. I arrived early, greeted warmly by board members who knew the truth. As I approached the entrance, I heard raised voices at the gate. Ethan and Claire stood arguing with security. Ethan's voice cracked with desperation. "My father's name is on the donor list. Please just check. We're family." Claire clutched his arm, makeup smudged, eyes pleading. "He'll vouch for us." "Call him. Tell him it's Ethan." The guard hesitated, then radioed. I paused at the threshold, turned slowly. There they were, clothes neat but threadbare, postures defeated, faces gaunt with years of quiet ruin. Ethan's eyes met mine, raw shame, pleading. Claire's lips trembled, hope flickering then dying. I held their gaze for a long moment. No words, just the weight of everything unspoken. Then I raised my glass faintly, a small final acknowledgement, turned, and walked inside to the lights, the laughter, the ocean wind. Betrayal from your own blood doesn't just wound, it redefines. It carves away softness, teaches you to measure loyalty by actions, not blood. Empty rooms echo louder than screams. There's echoed for decades in life they'd planned to steal but could never touch. These days, I live quietly in Victorian, the house still warm with Lydia's memory, but no longer heavy with secrets. I've taken up restoring old wooden boats, sloop hulls, day sailors, classics pulled from barns or salvage yards. I work alone in the boathouse most mornings, sanding teak decks until they glow, fitting new ribs, varnishing bright work under slanted light. The rhythm soothes, steady strokes, the scent of linseed oil and salt water, the satisfaction of bringing something neglected back to life. On weekend, I sail them out myself or donate the restored vessels to youth programs along the coast. Teaching kids from tough neighborhoods navigation, teamwork, the quiet pride of building something lasting. It's not grand. It's enough. A new legacy, one earned through patience and care, not inheritance or expectation. I walk the shore at dawn most days, footprints vanishing in the tide. The grief is softened to a dull ache. The rage burned clean long ago. What remains is something lighter, satisfaction, freedom, a life rebuilt on my own terms. If this tale of patient justice, shattered greed, and quiet redemption hit you hard, please subscribe for more stories like this. Real feel revenge, family betrayals, unexpected twists, and lives reclaimed. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications, smash that like button if Ethan and Claire's Gate moment gave you chills, and drop a comment. Whose downfall was more satisfying, the son's or the wife's? More coming soon.